everyone. It's the Fotobro. That's right, the Fotobro. No nonsense reviews, the opposite of Ken Rockwell, right here at the Fotobro. And please, thanks to all my new subscribers. Can you please just tell everyone to subscribe, rate, comment, give me a thumbs up if you like it. Let me know your comments and I'll answer them. Today, I want to tell you about ISO. Now, what you should do, whichever camera you're using, those of you shooting film will know this, is you should take off the auto ISO on your camera. Take off the auto ISO on your camera. It is much better if you have the ability to control the ISO quickly on your camera, to leave it off auto and to put it on a set ISO. Now, I'll tell you something about the way we work. I don't know a single studio photographer who shoots in a studio. Different, of course, if you are an event photographer shooting concerts and bars and events, and sometimes even indoor weddings and whatnot. Different if you are a night photographer on the street or a street photographer. Different if you are a photographer who shoots in, let's say, sports, because you might want to use the high ISO, because I'll explain to you what ISO is in a minute. But basically, if you are shooting in the studio, you do not want to use more than about a 100 ISO. And for those of you shooting film, some of you will be using 64 or 80 or 50 ISO, depending on the film you use. Some cameras have a 100 ISO rating, but as the lowest setting. What lowest means is, lowest ISO means you need more light to hit the sensor of the film, and a high ISO like 6400 or 3200 or 800 or high means you need more light to hit the film or sensor to get the same tone in the image. Okay? So high ISO means high sensitive film, takes in a lot of light very quickly. Low ISO means less sensitive to light. You need to have the shutter open more, or the aperture open, the iris of the lens open more to get the same amount of light to hit the film. It is less sensitive. So what do we use when we're shooting models, when we're shooting the fashion? We control the light. We start off in a dark studio with no light, completely zero, and then we add light with strobes and hot lights and reflectors and modifiers and whatnot. Okay? So we can control the light, and I'll tell you something. I don't know anyone in my business who shoots more than 50 or 64 or 100. I don't know anyone in my business who has their camera set on 200 or 400 or 800. You just don't do it. Why? Because we control the light. Now, if you're shooting outside, you can't control the light. So you might need to use a higher ISO. But let's face it, you're going to face problems with degradation in the image quality. You're going to have grain, and you're going to have noise if it's a digital sensor. But here's the beauty of it. Sometimes that gives you a special look. So sometimes they will shoot films, movies, and images on high ISO film. And then they will push or pull process that film. That is, they will use more or less chemicals and time with the film immersed in those chemicals to allow the film to behave differently than if it was processed normally. And that means that they get a good effect. You can shoot, night scenes on 400, but in fact you might want to use 1600, and you can push or pull it to give different effects and make it look like it was 1600. But it's not going to look the same. 100's got the cleanest image you got. You got 100 on your camera. If you got 50, use it and keep it there if you're shooting in the studio. Now, little known note about using cameras with 100 ISO. They may well say 100 ISO, but the real rating, as determined by meters and actual comparison with film and other classic ways of measuring ISO, it might well be that that sensor is actually, while set on 100, rated at something more like 80. Okay, so just be a little bit careful if you're going to use a meter to check with the manufacturer and ask them, what is the real ISO if I set it to 100? That's the way to do it. Okay, enough about ISO for now. Don't shoot in auto. Put it on 100 on the lowest setting you can and light your subject. If you're shooting street photography, obviously, or sports, or event, obviously you won't have that luxury. But use the most convenient setting you can, and I'd recommend you use the lowest setting you can, because sensor technology means that, and also film means that the characteristics of the image will change, and not in a linear fashion, depending on the ISO setting of your camera. I'll be talking about this more in a forthcoming video. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. That's all from the Fotobro. Please rate, subscribe, comment, leave your comments below. Please watch my other video, What Camera Should You Buy? The Awful Truth About Camera Reviews and Reviewers, and the truth about buying a camera in GWCs. Don't be a GWC. Okay, please rate, subscribe. I'll see you, and your comment below. Tell your friends, tell your grandma. That's all from the Fotobro.